Hi, I'm Dmitry, founder of a B2B SaaS company. We created a niche but very complex ERP system, and I actively integrate AI based workflows into my own business. Today, I'm going to share a real world use case which brought a huge benefit to our business. It is a document recognition. I'm also giving away a document template, so feel free to use it as a starting point for your future implementations. So let's dive in. So my clients are commodity trading companies. They face a high volume of documents daily, contracts, invoices, bills of lading, warehouse receipts. For example, an average company processes 30, 40 waybills and 10, 15 invoices every day. Now imagine having to manually analyze this volume, extract key data, and insert it into an internal ERP system. Would you leave a positive review on a Trustpilot after doing that? Probably not. So here was the core idea. Let user upload the documents, recognize their content, ask for moderation if needed, and save structured data into our database. Document recognition technology is not brand new thing at all. People use OCR, which stands for optical character recognition, and machine learning do the job. You simply teach the machine to understand the format, recognize specific format, and that's it. However, LLMs bring new quality here, and in my opinion, the huge difference is that you do not need to know in advance what format of document template the user wants to recognize, because LLM can reason, and that's the main thing that makes our lives a lot easier now. Here, a set of documents I received from the counterparty via email or messenger. You may see how bad they are, just the photos taken randomly. These are the photos of away bills made by truck drivers, so we have to deal with it. I drag and drop them into a Telegram bot and I can go make a coffee. In the meantime, the system takes care of everything. It identifies document type, extract key data fields, and wait for my moderation. So prepared data begins to appear in the spreadsheet one by one. So I can review and correct the entries if there is a mistake in the recognition, and I can do it whenever I have time to, because once I change the status to approved, such entries will be asynchronously synced with the database. So let's imagine another case when I have just one document, but I'm really concerned about it, or the document is complicated like contract or bill of lading. I might want to quickly check it first without going anywhere else. Let's say I'm adding a bill of lading, and please pay attention, this time it is a PDF, not image. Here is the original document. So if I add any caption, it signals the system that this needs manual review. The recognition process is pretty fast, and the system instantly displays first results. The user sees the output, can correct anything in natural language, and the system will update the spreadsheet. Let's correct the number and see our final result in the spreadsheet. Please pay attention that the number is correct. When working with real users, it is crucial that this interaction is very fast to prevent them from getting distracted or dropping the entire process. Since the most important but long part is processing these results to match user-specific database, like data normalization, ID mapping, it is very important to do all the heavy lifting in the background or in the very end after user confirms everything. So in my opinion, it is smart to get all the checks from the user first and then let him leave. For the purposes of this video, I simplify the workflow and split it into two parts. The one that I'm showing is the recognition process itself and saving results in the spreadsheets. Another one where these results are being asynchronously populated to the database from the spreadsheet. I will overview in the later videos. Let me know in the comments if you want a walkthrough of that part too. So the key idea, so initially I used only one agent, then three, then eight, and then settled on five. Why? To reduce hallucinations and simplify debugging. Also, you're able to use your tokens much smarter because you pick appropriate model for appropriate task. A single agent, even the one with a long context window, is not reliable at all of handling workflows of such complexity. So the idea is each of the five agents now handles their specific focus task. Agent number one, agent number two, number three, number four, and number five. So let's dive in how it works. First node is a Telegram input. You may receive text or photo or a file. The next one is storing user input. This node helps us define a proper file ID and document type because Telegram send information about photos and files differently. Therefore, if we want to correctly handle both PDFs and photo, we should maintain both logic here. So as you can see, for the photos, Telegram sends us a lot of different information that we do not need, including some thumbnails, etc. So we are picking the photo with the highest resolution here. And for the file, we are just using the one that we received from the Telegram. So message type is a switch node that is responsible to define the type based on the previous node field, which is called field file type. So we have two branches here, the one when user sends a text. So we can correspond to the Telegram asking him to send us files or simply ignore this branch. If it's a document or a photo, we use standard download file node in order to get the binary file to pass it further for the recognition. The next node is analyze node. So now we need some external source for help. There are a variety of services you might use. Just Google OCR API. There will be instructions how to connect to such a service. I picked OCR Space because they have a free plan, so it's ideal for the demo. So this node is a simple HTTP request node. We make a post request to an OCR service URL. So two things we have to pass. Headers, so the name is AP key. Value is your actual value of the AP key that will be that you will get from the service. This helps service to authorize you. The next is body. We have to use form data content type and select some parameters. First and main is binary file, which is a service name file, and our name data. Other parameters are needed to make some customizations that the service supports. You can read their documentation and pick your own or use mine from the template. If there is an error, we have to notify user about that, passing their response from the service. So if you use a free package, you might face with some limitations and the service might not going to be available all the time. So the next node is get all OCR pages. This is a code node. So since the servers reverse a result for each page of the document, and there could be a lot of pages, so we want to combine them together into one simple text here. So here is the code that is doing the job. I made it using ChatGPT, so can you? So the next node is OCR text. That's a standard fields node needed to store the concatenated text value for further usage. Here is our first agent. So once we have OCR results, we need to classify the document type. We don't ask the user to specify the type. It's an extra step we don't want. So users might upload multiple documents at once, and we have to detect the type automatically. You might have noticed I have a Google Doc here. That's because I prefer keeping part of an agent prompt separately from the workflow, so you can amend it anytime without saving the workflow. It's especially handy if you have the same workflow for many clients and need to make changes. Imagine the mess if you need to do it inside each workflow. So type agent uses GPT 4.1 mini model. It does the job and saves the tokens because we are not doing anything complicated here. So the agent receives document information, which is basically an output from the OCR service. We define system role and task specification, which are not going to change, but workflow can. So let's go and see it in the Google Doc. Here are two simple steps. So as an output, we will receive one of these four words, which will allow us to choose the next branch. The next agent is matching fields agent. Here we need a smart guy because we need some reasoning. The thing is that what we've been given by the OCR is a bit unstructured. To be more specific, it's just a mess with a text without any connections. So our guy have to comprehend which fields are which. So in other words, to do some reasoning and match fields with their respective values. Our ERP evolves all the time, so field structure might change. So again, I store field definitions outside the workflow for easy updates. For this demo, I use Google Docs to list field names and provide an AI with hints how to match them. Let's see some example. So this allows to support multiple document types and add some fields or change hints for such a fields outside the workflow. Then we consolidate the output from the branches into one code node here. Then our classic agent prompt outside the workflow and the agent itself. He receives information from the OCR. He has a system role, task specification, the workflow, the example, which is basically the field tips from our Google Doc, and the output rules. Also, this agent uses a full 4.1 model to be smart enough, and he is equipped by a think tool which help him to check himself while reasoning. Need human in the middle. So we need this node to define whether we want interaction with the human before saving anything into a spreadsheet or not. You already guessed that it is based on caption. So if the caption exists, we will guide the workflow to two more agents. If not, go directly to the data preparation. Our validation agent uses a GPT-4o model because he needs to communicate with the user. He receives information from the matching agent, which is already structured and clean, and also he receives some original information from the OCR. He has an external tool, Telegram Response, which allow him to communicate with the users in the Telegram. I will not waste your time explaining how this tool works because this workflow is already pretty heavy. But if you need it, let me know. Maybe I'll do a short video about that because it's also a bit tricky. Our next guy is equipped with a Mini 4.1 model because all he has to do is to replace the wrong data with the user input, if any. So he has an invoice information from the matching agent and user input received from the validation agent. So if there is any correction, it is his job to apply it and pass further. The next block is data preparation block. We take information either from the correction agent or from the matching agent if we skip validation steps here. Then the same switch that helps us to get proper headers from the spreadsheet. Why? Because we can't assume that AI matched fields will exactly match the spreadsheet structure because users might have changed it because they have access to the spreadsheet file. We don't know it. So we have to make matching again. That's a job for a model 4.1 mini again and the data edge. So he has a database fields from a spreadsheet and documents fields from matching agent or from the correction agent. Then we have a code named split out in order to get a separate fields. Then we have the same switch and now we are posting to our respective spreadsheet. We use a standard Google spreadsheet node where we must set the option to map fields automatically since we already know the structure of the document. This is how the data appear in the spreadsheet. So as you can see, the recognition process itself is just a small part of the whole workflow. So their logic for a human in the middle, normalization of the data, error handling, and other mandatory things. I like the idea each agent has its own tiny world and he didn't even have a clue about what is going on the left and on the right. So seems a lot like us humans, isn't it? So if you know the way how to make this workflow better, share it with me, please. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more real-world AI workflows. I share everything for free. My goal is to help others implement useful automations for their business. So see you in the next videos.